Obama took office.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. That's truly amazing how you would think that would have occurred.
Yes.
If going into that race, going into that 8-year cycle, I would never have said that race relations would be worse off. That surprised the heck out of me. I figured that would probably be his hallmark.
You want to know why,
focusing
John?
on that.
You want to know why, John? Because you are so intelligent. You said it. It's about economics. The economic situation for the average African American is worse now than when he took office.
And going to this thing about Chicago, okay? It offends me with this Black Lives Movement.
Absolutely.
Don't realize that they're picking these incidences of cops killing black kids versus the fact that many more are being killed by each other.
You're welcome, guys. Very welcome.
And then on top of that,
and Star did that.
Black babies in America.
Oh my God!
Come on, if you really want to say all Black Lives Matter, let's say all Black Lives Matter.
My friend Rolando had a co-host, not a co-host, but just a guest on about a week ago. He was a African American guy. I can't remember his name. He almost got into an argument with me on the air when I said, where were the marches and the protests? I grew up on the south side of Chicago. We had 1,800 homicides last year alone. We've had 4,000 shootings this year just on the south side of Chicago. And I said, where were the marches and the protests when my best friend was shot next to me on the south side of Chicago when I was 16 years old? Bled out in my arms. Where was Black Lives Matter? Where was Jesse Jackson? Where were the marches? Where are the marches when a black officer kills an African American? Where are the marches? Why is it when one white officer shoots an African American? I'm so sick of that. So I'm going to tell you what, Black Lives Matter and all these other groups, the next time you have an emergency, don't dial 911. Don't ask these officers, these white police officers, to put their lives on the line for you. You can handle it. Call Black Lives Matter and they'll come out and they'll save you from your emergency. Don't ask these officers that, since they're all killers and they all hate black people, they're all Nazis, the next time you have a problem, don't call 911. Because I'm telling you right now what I'm fearful of in this country.
It's never been a black guy killing a white police officer, isn't it?
Right. Oh, of course there has. Of course there has, Rolando. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I was a white officer in this country, and if this continues, and if I'm have to leave my job and I'm put on administrative leave and I'm in front of the TVs and I'm in the court systems constantly, what signal is that going to give these other officers when I rush into a situation when an African American has a gun?
Well, you know what I would do if I was a white police officer and I'm going to risk to go to prison for doing my job, for protecting the citizen. I would not. If I see something going on, I turn my head this way. And that's what's going to happen. And that's what I've been saying almost every month. I've been saying that in my column in the paper. You have to give these people the security that they are going to be able to do the job. Otherwise, they're not going to do the job.
What do you say, John?
Well, I think Chris and Rolando, you're both right on target on this issue. It pains me, because I've always believed that all lives matter. Let's get to the bottom line. All lives do matter. There's no doubt about it. Genocide is bad. Killing is bad. All of this is bad. So what is the problem? What is happening? Why are so many people angry and killing other people for? What is that? What's the problem, Chris? Rolando, what is the problem? Why are people so angry and hate the other guy so much?
And I still haven't seen a tape. The police, they run out here in Jesse Jackson, buses these blacks into these cities to tear these cities up, because that's all they're doing, setting fire to their own stores and their own communities. And he's the one that's really the head of Black Lives Matter. He's busing those people into those cities to start trouble. And I have yet to see a video of a white officer shoot a black person, and they don't ask them to stop. Put the weapon down. Please put the weapon down. Put the weapon down. Put your hands up at least 10 times.
Yeah.
So what are you supposed to do as a police officer? Wait for them to fire first? What are you supposed to do? You are trained that if they are not cooperating with the instructions you are giving them, John, you was military, you know what's coming next. if you was in a war and you told them to put their hands up, get on the ground, what are you going to do if they don't follow your instructions? And military and police are very similar.
And you know, and really, the bottom line of all this is that you are entitled to self-defense. And those police officers, law enforcement, military...
Yeah, but the police officers are not entitled to self-defense. If you're going to look at the opinion of the people, then all they look is what somebody else tells them. You know, they don't have a mind of their own. You know, and nobody criticizes the police more than I do, okay? But I criticize the administration. The administration is the one that is corrupted. The administration is the one. And I always said the good police officers are the one in the street. The bad police officers, nobody gonna shoot at them because they are hiding. They are undercover, or they are any way or shape in any different position that the police officer they stop you, and it doesn't gonna make me less of a man or more than a man. If the police stop me, put the red light on, I put my hands in the wheel, in the steering wheel, and I follow his instruction to the T. Why? Because he rightfully so is in the right to be nervous nowadays. But I never did that. I never argue with a police officer when if I'm going to argue, I go to court. You know, I got a ticket one day and I thought it was unjustifiable. And I didn't say nothing. And the person that was with me said, well, you didn't do that. Don't worry about it. Then I go to court and I explain my side. It doesn't gonna tell you that you're gonna win in court. You know, 99.5% of the time, the judges side with the police officer. You know, because why? Because we have the habit of lying when we go to court. You know, you have to look at both sides of the fence. And and he brought in four cops to witness. So I told the judge, I said, well, I guess I lost. You know, I got four.
Yeah. Well, you know, Rolando, I truly believe that the government is the problem on a lot of this.
Definitely.
And you know, I do subscribe to the freedom of the press and transparency. We should be allowed to have more access to government information. Now, if we would have that, a lot of this stuff would not be happening today.
Yeah, that's right. And I tell you, if you read my column this week, you know, people that work in the front, in the office, and stuff like that is what they make the rest of them look bad, because they get an attitude. All these girls sitting in the front there, well, do it the way you know, and then, you know, your normal reaction is to answer her back. And then what happened? Do you know what the end of my column? Security, you know.
Rolando, I was witness to that conversation. I heard it, and I was totally surprised that the front office over there would have such a bad attitude.
Yeah. You know, they do. They think they are in charge. They think they are the boss. And I guarantee you that at least 50% of the time, the bosses are not that nasty. And that's the reason why you see people, I don't know if you guys remember, the guy that drove his car to Social Security, because people are frustrated. They are going to be in the street, they're hungry, and this woman is irrational, and she starts putting you down. You have to do it the way you're supposed to do it. You know.
They need a course in public relations and human relations, because they just don't get it.
Yeah. And they don't want to hear anything wrong. You know, I wrote it in I think it was the editorial. You know, they think that they are a little bit out of line, and the attitude is, they remind me of my former mother-in-law, you know.
I guess we have a caller coming in.
You on the air? You on the air?
Yes, I'm calling to speak to the owner. Is he unavailable?
Pardon?
Okay, then I'll call it. The owner, is he unavailable?
Well, the owner is doing a radio show. You're on the air right now, talking to the whole world.
Really?
Yeah, what do you got to say? We're talking about how great Donald Trump is going to be when he becomes president. What do you have to say about that?
Fuck Trump, that's what I gotta say.
The amazing part of that Donald Trump stuff is that a lot of those people are like sheep. Propaganda's being put out about if you look at the massive information going out on the negativism of Donald Trump versus all the stuff he's done very positive, it isn't close with the media.
Can you imagine that they're wasting their time now? Because Donald Trump was trying to pronounce Nevada and Nevada. What the heck is the difference? I'm going to say like Hillary Clinton said, what difference does it make now?
Does it matter? Yeah, it was pretty incredible. And really,
whatever his name is, the vice president for Hillary Clinton, Tim Kaine, no?
Yeah,
Tim Kaine.
And also Reid was part of that dialogue.
Of course. He got to put his tongue everywhere.
Let me ask you this: Does he also criticize all the Mexicans and all the Latinos and all the other people that don't pronounce Nevada the way he wants it?
Oh yeah. Well, he doesn't do that now, but in 1993 he was the worst enemy that the Mexican had. I put him in the paper. I put this speech that he did in 1993 when he was against the illegals. At least Donald Trump is not against the illegals. He's not against the Mexicans, but they turn it that way.
Well, he said there are good Mexican people. Let's be honest about it. And there are some criminals.
Let me tell you.
There are some criminals.
Look at the paper today. Look at the daily paper today. I hate to say it. The little tiny paper over there on Bonanza Road. Okay? Then they kill somebody. There's another illegal somebody, son. Okay? The Cuban drugs, majority in the churches and the Mexicans killing people. I gotta tell you that most of these people are illegal. Now, look at all the mess they made. Look at all the mess they made because the Roberto's tacos, or tacos Roberto, I don't know how to say it.
I love it.
They...
Nachos. Nachos are excellent.
Because he was in a meeting with Donald Trump. They want to boycott another restaurant because they're enemy. Okay, Donald Trump ultimate.
So they don't know. So let's turn the tables on them. Let's say everybody go out there and buy a taco from Roberto's taco truck. And make sure that you support them.
Are you buying?
That would be a good idea.
Are you buying?
Maybe.
And the funny part of this thing, and the cynical, the ironic part of this thing is when Roberto's Tacos was closed because they got roaches and mouses in the floor, but it stopped going over there.
Well, come on.